Hello and welcome to Just a Damn Nerd. Thanks for clicking on the video. Now, if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing with your life? Hit that subscribe button. And today, we're talking about High on Life.
So don't worry, you just did regular murder.
But if you stick with me, I'm gonna accomplish great things, Morty, and you're gonna be part of them.
Fell in love with a leader, and it turns out they're all a hive mind, so she's fucking all of them.
It's you and me, Morty. The outside world is our enemy, Morty.
A new action FPS from Squanch Games, the makers of the Rick and Morty VR game. Now, High on Life stands out in a year of mediocrity. With the exception of Elden Ring, Call of Duty, and God of War Ragnarok, 2022 has been one of the most mediocre video game years I can ever remember. For the most part, we have been starved for interesting games. But thankfully, High on Life has exceeded every expectation I originally had for the game. It is an absolutely outstanding title. So, we're going to start off with visuals and performance.
Yeah! Welcome to fucking space!
This game has some absolutely gorgeous vistas. There are 3 major planets in High on Life, and each one of them has a couple different biomes. The only one I really didn't like was the desert planet, but you have this gorgeous forest planet, which you spend probably the majority of the game on. Then you have the game's main HUD world, which is this here, and it looks lovely for a big city. There's also a desert planet, and you spend just a little bit of time at the end of the game on Earth. But for the most part, these are the biomes you see, and these biomes are absolutely gorgeous. Fortunately, with the exception of some stutter struggle, being that this is an Unreal 4 engine game that doesn't compile shaders prior to you launching it, High on Life avoids most of the massive performance issues of 2022 games. Now, I played the game at 4K at 120 frames a second with everything maxed out using an NVIDIA RTX 4090, and for the most part it stayed well over that 120 limit. It had almost no major issues that I could think of other than me having to reload checkpoints 3 times because of the fact that it didn't trigger the next area. I also had one hard crash in my 11 hours playing the game, but it was nothing too inconvenient, and by modern standards, this is pretty damn impressive. So the game absolutely nails its visuals, and it absolutely nails its performance metrics for the most part. So High on Life story starts off pretty generic, as Earth is invaded by aliens.
Shit! Oh, what the fuck? Get down and stay quiet. I knew aliens were real. Oh shit, look, it's Mr. Pilfrey. He's got that, what's it called? Dementia.
Oh, what's going on out here? Martha, is that you? Oh my god!
Oh my god, what did they just do to Mr. Pilfrey?
However, it almost immediately takes an amusing twist as it turns out these aliens have invaded Earth because somehow humans are a hallucinogenic drug these aliens want to smoke. So almost immediately, they land on Earth and they murder an old man and then kill one of their associates. This allows you to get your first weapon in the game, Kenny. Now, Kenny is voiced by Morty.
Did that thing just spit all
Finally!
over you?
Oh my god, finally I'm free, thank god! What a nightmare! Listen, can you pull the inhibitor chip out of me? It's the metal thing stuck in me, just pull it out!
What the fuck is that?
Oh, that feels so much better, thank you!
So I spent most of the game using Kenny as my primary weapon. He's also a well-balanced weapon that reminds me a lot of the Halo pistol, and you'll probably spend the majority of the game with him as your primary weapon, especially since you upgrade guns throughout the game, and I put most of my money to upgrading Kenny. You almost immediately thrust onto an alien planet in the middle of an alien city, where somebody wants to write you a ticket for teleporting your house in the middle of the city, because apparently you're not allowed to park houses in the middle of the city. Kenny tells you to go out and find a bounty hunter named Gene, who supposedly is the greatest bounty hunter in the universe.
You're really Gene.
Yeah, I'm really Gene. That's me, like on the ads. Disappointed? Guess how I feel.
Okay, well, whoopsies. Huh. We were gonna ask for your help fighting the G3 cartel, but...
Kid, do I look like I can help anyone? I just got evicted. I don't even have a goddamn home.
so he can help you take down the G3 cartel. The G3 cartel are the aliens who have invaded Earth, murdered your family, and taken humans as drugs.
Aliens of Earth. That's
My
the scary
name
alien
is
we saw kill Mr.
Godmetrous,
Pilfrey.
leader of the G3 cartel. Don't resist. Any attempts to fight us would be futile.
Crazy.
You are now officially the property of the G3 cartel.
So you wander around the city only to find out that Gene has lost both of his legs and is now homeless and living on the street. Well, Gene offers you a deal that he will let you use his badass bounty hunter suit that has stuff like boost, jetpacks, and can take multiple hits from direct energy weapon fire if you simply promise him your house on the occasion of your death.
Ho, 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 ho. Look at that nice house. God damn. Where'd that come from? That's a great fucking house. You see that house? I've got a fully operational bounty suit in my cart over there.
Really? Well, that's convenient.
Yeah, I can turn that hairy kid of yours into a true blue bounty hunter. But if they die, I want the house. That's the trade.
Are you sure? I don't think they've even fired a gun before today. And wait, you want the house in return?
Yeah, this is a great deal for you. I mean, you get all my old bounty hunter shit, and I might get a house.
Now this seems like a good deal, so your character jumps at it. However, Gene says there's no way you can survive, so he moves into your house immediately. Your sister, Lizzie, is also teleported with you, and this makes for some of the game's funniest moments, as the interactions between Lizzie and Gene seem to always be hilarious.
There you are. Who's this weirdo? And
Hey, I don't like getting up to take shit, so I'm just gonna shit right here in the couch later. I don't have to shit right now, but just a heads up.
like that. Was that weird or was that normal? It was weird, right? It was weird.
Your mom's nice.
They're not my kid. I'm their sister. How old do you think I am?
Listen, Hairball, I don't know what kind of alien you are or how fast you age. I'm just making my best guesses here.
You were only gone 5 minutes, and you already told some random alien he could move in with us.
And there's a few points in the game where you can choose what character to side with when they're arguing. I don't know if this changes the outcome of the game at all, but I had fun making the choices anyway. So now you have to embark on the long journey of taking down the G3 cartel. This is done by Gene providing you with a target list of G3 cartel members. You're typically given 2 options of which one to go after first, and they're on one of the game's 3 major planets. You teleport to semi-open world levels. These are big, giant open world style maps where you can wander around for hours without actually going to the objective. But once you do go to the objective, you tend to get into these more linear combat areas, which is always, I always thought was a good way to do this kind of stuff. It allows for better pacing while also allowing you to explore some. But fortunately, they don't feel disconnected in this game like they do some games. Like take Destiny, for example, where the more open areas feel very, very separate from the mission area. These, you just are going into an enemy base and wiping out the enemy base and then fighting a boss. And you essentially repeat this process 8 times and then fight the final boss. This could easily become tropey and boring, as this style of hunting down one enemy after another can be fairly common in the action FPS genre. What keeps High on Life from getting stale is its Rick and Morty inspired humor.
We can survive this together if you just listen to me. Those G3 guys are gonna turn your whole species into drugs.
I found almost all of the jokes in this game to be hilarious.
Ooh, whoops, sorry about all those pop-ups. I forgot to warn you about that. You can close them with the interact button, but they are gonna keep coming back nonstop. That's just gonna keep happening until you activate the license. Sorry, you better hurry up.
I enjoyed every interaction between characters. I can still remember the names of the guns, and I can still remember Lizzie's name and Gene's name, and a lot of games I forget the names of the characters 2 minutes after the credits roll. Even some of the bosses are memorable. The humor style here really works for me.
Listen, bring me up close to your face. Perfect. Now just look down the sights and fire. You're doing great, by the way. Oh, I'm proud of you. Do you need some more encouragement? Here, that's my little G3 killer. Oh, look at you, G3 killer. Okay, enough of this. Unpress. Your breath stinks.
If you find this joke funny,
Well, look what we got here. Fresh meat. Hey there, fresh meat. Welcome to the slums, fresh meat.
Oh boy, here we go. Fucking kid.
What's wrong, fresh meat? You scared of a little kid? Yeah, I'm a little kid. Look at me. Look at me. You're scared of me.
Whoa, what are you doing? Come on, he's just a kid. Don't shoot him.
Oh, you don't want to shoot me just because your gun said not to, just because you're your little gun. Oh, but you look how shootable I look. I look so shootable.
I am not shooting a kid.
Go ahead. Do it. Shoot me for... you shot me. I'm dead.
All right there. Are you happy now? Wow, I didn't think we'd be allowed to kill him. Normally, killing children in games isn't allowed, but he's dead. We killed this kid. Are you happy now? We killed a kid. A kid is dead now. There goes our E for everybody rating.
So it finally happened. Someone killed my son.
Your son?
Yep, the kid up there who always calls everyone fresh meat.
We are so sorry. Listen, don't get used to that. We're not killing any more kids. I'm drawing the line, so savor it. Enjoy it. It happened. Tuck it away in the old memory book.
No, it's fine. He was 30 years old, so don't feel too bad. 30 years old is still adolescence for our species, but it's not as bad as shooting like a 5-year-old or something.
This kind of humor permeates almost the entire game. This is a style humor High on Life is built on. It's a very Rick and Morty style humor. There's other style jokes in here, but for the most part, this kind of sarcastic douchebaggery that Rick and Morty is so known for is what this game is built on. I don't think any jokes in this game ever quite reach the level of Pickled Rick, but I'd say that most of the jokes in this game are up to the snuff of the majority of Rick and Morty episodes. Now, gameplay.
Buck, a bunch of your ex-wife's new alien boyfriends. There they are, coming right at you. Just shoot them, Buck. You remember how to shoot, don't you? Shoot, Buck.
Now, gameplay continues the triumph of High on Life. So, the shooting mechanics in shooting feel a whole lot like Destiny or Call of Duty. I'd say probably Destiny because you're tougher than you are in Call of Duty, but you're also tougher than you are in Destiny. However, the enemies are far more deadly in High on Life than they are in Destiny. While the enemy types and varieties feel very Halo, as you have smaller, easier enemies that die very quickly, medium enemies, and large enemies in almost every fight. So, you have a very Destiny-styled shooting mechanics with a very Halo-styled enemies. The two work together very well. Then you also add on top of that some freedom of movement reminiscent of games like Titanfall, but a slower paced style of Titanfall, as you can jump, boost, and float in the air, allowing you to gain all kinds of advantages over your enemies. This allows you to survey the terrain to find elevated positions, flanking routes, and get the jump on your enemies. Plus, later in the game, you can get a boost slide, where you can boost slide into enemies and immediately melee them. Enemies also drop health and armor when you kill them, meaning the game encourages you to stay fairly close to the enemies you're in combat with, similar to Doom. All these different games could end up working heavily against each other and making a mess of a combat engine, but High on Life actually does an excellent job of working all of these games together. With the freedom of movement, you can find flanking routes. With the nice, tight Destiny/Call of Duty inspired shooting, you can take shots from across the map, and the great combination of enemy types, with each type of enemy behaving in a specific way, like Doom or Halo, allows you to be more strategic in the way you approach large combat areas. You can take on these enemies with 4 major weapons. You have Kenny, the primary gun, the voice of Morty, and the primary source of humor in the game. Then you have Gus, a more laid-back character, although I can't honestly analyze Gus too much because I didn't walk around with him out most of the time, because to be fair, Gus is the worst shotgun I think I've ever seen in a video game. I didn't really like Gus that much as a gun, but I found him amusing as a character. Then there's Swayze, who is essentially a combination of the Neither from Halo and the Covenant beam rifle. Although I found Swayze to be not that funny at all, and I really didn't use him much for that reason. Then there's Creature. Creature is an unusual gun that I haven't seen in FPS in years. It's essentially a gun that shoots little minion characters that will latch on and attack enemies for you. And then there's one super weapon you get near the end of the game, but I'm not going to spoil that. The only thing that feels like it's missing here is you do not ever get a grenade. It feels like this game would have been even better if they had thrown a grenade into the sandbox as well. You also have a knife, but I forget his name, and he doesn't talk nearly enough, but the knife is very amusing when he does decide to talk. All these things combine to make a very entertaining and addictive combat sandbox. I could easily see myself wanting to go back and play through this game again and again and again, because the combat sandbox is so much fun. As far as I know, this game does not offer co-op, so those of you who were hoping for that function. It's unfortunate, but it isn't here. The level traversal in this game is absolutely excellent. It is fully Metroidvania inspired. The 3 planets have full biomes that you cannot get to, so you get character upgrades, much like Metroidvania. Although I respect the fact that in this game, you're not going back to an area that you played through 2 hours ago to get a weapon upgrade. Instead, getting the new traversal add-on to your suit opens up a whole new biome for you to explore. This was much more fun to me than having to backtrack for 20 minutes to get a new upgrade like in Metroid. The game also has some interesting environmental and jumping puzzles that I found to be pretty easy but also pretty fun. Some of these puzzles will land you with new upgrades to your abilities, and others will land you with money. Money is the game's primary source of XP, much like the Callisto Protocol and most other action games in the recent months. Money is how you upgrade your character. You can buy upgrades to your guns, suits, and armor with money, making money very important. There's also these boxes throughout the game you can break open and they give you money. Plus those warp crystals on the enemy bases that actually warp in during your combat that you can also take to the shop and buy warp discs. The game has a set number of warp discs. Each time you warp in one of these areas, you get a little bit of interesting divergent gameplay. Like the game spawning a railway track with one character tied down on one side and 5 characters tied down on the other side, and trying to get you to make the choice of who gets to get run over. I won't spoil this amusing joke here, but I will say that it's a lot more difficult than just 1 versus 5. The game's humor is so on point that one of these spawns in a movie theater, which plays 100% of the movie Demon Wind, which you can Google if you haven't already. It's a free movie you can watch for free. The movie is fucking terrible, but the entire run through of the movie, there are 3 aliens sitting in the front row making jokes about Demon Wind. I found this to be hilarious. I felt like I was watching a YouTuber go after a terrible movie while I was watching it. This was really funny, and it actually captivated me long enough to sit in a movie theater in a video game for over an hour just to hear the jokes. And when the movie was over, I sat there for a few minutes while the credits were running as the alien made jokes about watching the movie over and over again. I actually found myself liking almost every character in the game. If you're a fan of the Rick and Morty style humor, I don't think there's any way you will not love this game. Let's wrap this thing up here. So we have fun, addictive combat, fun, addictive level exploration, pretty graphics, mostly good performance, excellent jokes, likable characters, good, albeit somewhat generic story writing, and an overall entertaining package that you can get for $10 on Game Pass. High on Life is a triumph in a year that desperately needs them. This game is 100% damn nerd approved. If you haven't played it yet, go hit it up on Game Pass immediately because it's well worth your money. This game is a 10 out of 10. It is absolutely great. I will come back and play this game for years to come. I freaking love it. I couldn't recommend it more. This game checked every single box I was hoping it would when I first saw it announced at Microsoft's E3 press show. It is great. Go play it. I hope you guys enjoy the game. I thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you will come back next time. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, this is the Damn Nerd signing off.